What if the smallest choice today could rewrite your tomorrow? Do you believe a single step can shift the path of your life? Every day, you make decisions, mundane, fleeting, yet powerful. Could these quiet moments hold the key to your future? Why do some rise while others drift, carried by time? This is our question. How can daily choices shape your destiny? Let's enter a story that unveils the power of consistent habits. Follow a man whose small steps changed everything. In a dusty desert town where horizons stretched endless, lived Soren. He was a scribe, his days spent copying texts in a dim library. Soren's life was steady, predictable, but unremarkable. He dreamed of more, a legacy, a name that echoed beyond the sands. Yet each day felt the same, his ambitions buried in routine. His hands were stained with ink, his heart with quiet regret. At night, he'd stare at the stars, wondering where he'd gone wrong. The townsfolk knew him as reliable, but never extraordinary. Soren felt trapped, his future a mirror of his present. He longed to break free, but how when life felt so heavy? One evening, a wandering poet left a book on his desk. The book was old, its pages worn, titled The Seeds of Time. Soren read it by lamplight, its words like sparks in his mind. It spoke of habits, small choices that grew into mighty oaks. A single act, repeated, can carve rivers through stone, it said. Soren paused, his candle flickering, his thoughts racing. Could something so simple, daily choices, reshape his life? He looked at his quill, his dusty tomes, his unchanging days. The next morning, he made a choice, small but deliberate. He'd write one page of his own words before his usual work. Just one page, no more, to tell a story from his heart. It felt insignificant, but it was a seed, planted in hope. Soren's first page was clumsy, the words stiff and unsure. He nearly tore it up, convinced it was a waste of time. But he remembered the book's promise: consistency builds power. So he wrote another page the next day and the day after. Each morning before the library's hum, he claimed that hour. The desert sun rose, and Soren's stack of pages grew. He didn't know where it would lead, but he kept going. The choice was small, but it was his, a spark in the dark. Soren's mornings became a ritual, his quill dancing before dawn. Each page he wrote felt like a rebellion against his old self. The desert town slept, but Soren's stories woke, alive with color. He wrote of heroes, of quests, of hearts that defied the odds. At first his words stumbled, rough as the sandy winds outside. Doubt whispered he was no poet, just a scribe wasting ink. But Soren clung to the book's wisdom. Habits shape destiny. One page a day, no matter how small, was his vow. Weeks turned to months, his stack of pages now a tower. He hid them in a wooden box, unsure of their worth. Yet each word built something within him, a quiet strength. One evening, a beate traveler stopped by the library, dusty and worn. She was a storyteller, her eyes sharp, her voice like a song. Soren, tidying scrolls, overheard her tales of distant lands. She spoke of stories that changed lives, sparked revolutions. He felt a pang. His pages, locked away, held no such power. The traveler noticed him, her gaze piercing the dim light. "You have a story," she said, "not a question but a fact." Soren froze, his heart racing, his secret suddenly heavy. "I'm just a scribe," he mumbled, but she shook her head. "Show me," she urged, pointing to the box he guarded. He hesitated, then opened it, his hands trembling with fear. The traveler read his pages, her silence louder than the desert. Soren braced for dismissal, for proof he'd been a fool. Instead, she looked up. her eyes alight with wonder. "These are raw, but they breathe," she said. "They're alive." She asked to share one at the town's next gathering. Soren's stomach churned. Expose his work to judging ears? But the habit he'd built, that daily choice, pushed him forward. He nodded, his voice barely a whisper, agreeing to try. The gathering was days away, a stage for his fragile dream. Each night he refined his story, his habit now a lifeline. The choice to write, once so small, was reshaping his world. The night of the gathering arrived, the town square aglow with torches. Soren stood at the edge, his heart pounding, his pages clutched tight. The traveler took the stage, her voice weaving his story aloud. It was a tale of a wanderer, flawed but brave, seeking a lost star. The crowd leaned in, their silence heavy, their eyes fixed. Soren felt exposed, as if his soul stood bare before them. When the story ended, the square erupted in applause. Villagers approached him, their words warm, their faces alight. "Your story moved me," one said. "It felt like my own heart." Soren's fear dissolved, replaced by a realization, sharp and clear. His small daily choice, one page, had birthed something real. He saw it now. Habits, consistently nurtured, reshaped his future. That single act, repeated, had turned a scribe into a storyteller. Soren wasn't just copying texts, he was creating a legacy. The traveler stayed, teaching him to refine his craft. His stories spread, carried by merchants, sung in distant towns. Soren's name grew, no longer lost in the desert's dust. He hadn't changed overnight, he'd built it, page by page. The power of his daily choice had carved a new path. Now his library glowed with his own work, a testament to habit. Soren knew he'd never stop writing, never stop choosing. Let Soren's story guide you wherever you dream of going. Small choices, made daily, are the seeds of your future. Some drift because they wait for grand moments to act. Others rise because they commit to the small, steady steps. You can reshape your destiny, starting with one habit today. Choose something simple. Read a page, walk a mile, write a line. Do it tomorrow and the next day, no matter how small it feels. Soren wrote one page. You can pick your own spark. Track it, celebrate it, let it grow into your strength. Consistency turns dreams into reality, one choice at a time. Your future isn't a distant star, it's in your hands now. Name one small habit you'll start, one step toward your goal. Commit to it, not with perfection, but with persistence. Like Soren, let each choice build a bridge to your dreams. The power is yours, small, daily, unstoppable. Choose today and watch your future rise, page by page.